I still remember the night everything changed. It was raining, the kind of rain that soaks your clothes in seconds, and I was sitting in my car outside our apartment. I wasn't supposed to be there. I had told Emily I was working late. But something inside me told me to check. Call it instinct, call it paranoia, I don't know. All I knew was that my hands were shaking on the steering wheel, and my heart felt like it was about to explode. Through the blurred windshield, I saw our living room light flicker on. My stomach dropped when I noticed another shadow moving inside, not just hers. A man. He was laughing, leaning too close to her, and she wasn't pushing him away. She was smiling. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Every memory of our life together flashed in front of me. The vacations, the late-night talks, the promises we made. And now, here she was, letting someone else touch the life we built. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Part of me wanted to storm inside, to end it right there. But another part whispered, wait. Watch. Know the truth before you burn it all down. So I sat there in the darkness, hidden by the rain, watching my world slowly fall apart. And then, I saw something I will never forget. Emily disappeared from the living room for a moment, and I thought maybe, just maybe, I had misunderstood. Maybe the man was just a friend. Maybe she was going to tell him to leave. I clung to that tiny hope, like a drowning man grabs onto a piece of wood. But then she came back, carrying 2 glasses of wine, smiling like she used to smile at me. My chest tightened. The man leaned back on the couch, casual, comfortable, like he had done this before. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't acting like someone visiting for the first time. He looked like he belonged there. That thought hit me harder than anything. How long had this been going on? I watched as she sat down next to him. Too close. Their knees touched. She laughed at something he said, and tilted her head, the way she always did when she was completely drawn to someone. It was a gesture I knew by heart because I had fallen in love with it years ago. Now it was being used on someone else. My breathing grew heavier, fogging up the car window. I wiped it with my sleeve, just in time, to see her place her hand on his arm. My throat went dry. I wanted to scream, to smash the glass, to run inside and tear them apart. But I couldn't move. I was trapped, paralyzed by the truth unraveling in front of me. Minutes felt like hours as they talked, their bodies leaning closer, their laughter mixing with the sound of the rain. And then it happened. He reached out, brushed her hair back, and kissed her. My world shattered in silence. I sank into the seat, heart pounding, my mind spinning with questions I didn't want answers to. Every second of that kiss carved a scar into me. I knew life would never be the same again. And yet, instead of confronting them, I did something even worse. Something I can't explain to this day. I didn't storm inside. I didn't pound on the door. I didn't even call her. Instead, I pulled out my phone and hit record. My hands were trembling, but I kept the camera steady, capturing every second of their betrayal. Part of me hated myself for it, but another part, colder, sharper, knew I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that the woman I loved had already chosen someone else. As I filmed, I noticed details I had missed before. The way she touched his face so gently, like it wasn't the first time. The way he whispered something in her ear that made her blush. That blush used to be mine. Now it belonged to him. The anger inside me grew darker, heavier, until it felt like poison burning through my veins. I stopped recording and leaned back against the seat, clutching the phone like it was a weapon. My reflection in the rearview mirror startled me. I looked like a stranger. Eyes wide, jaw clenched, a man on the edge of something dangerous. A storm of thoughts flooded my mind. Should I confront her now? Should I wait until she came home, pretend I knew nothing, and then drop the video in front of her like a bomb? Or should I disappear completely, let her wake up one morning and realize I was gone forever. But the truth is, I wasn't ready to let go. Love and hate twisted together inside me, and I realized I needed to know everything. Who he was, how long this had been happening, and why. So I started my car, pulled away slowly, and made a silent promise to myself. I would uncover every secret they thought they could hide. And when I was done, neither of them would see it coming. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them, her smile, his hands on her, the kiss. It replayed like a cruel movie on a loop. By morning, I was exhausted, but something inside me had shifted. I wasn't just a broken man anymore. I was a man with a mission. I spent hours digging. Emily was careful. No obvious messages on her phone. No strange late-night calls when I was around. But no one hides everything perfectly. People slip. And she did. While she was in the shower, I checked her bag and found a folded receipt from a hotel bar across town. My pulse quickened. The date on it matched one of the nights she told me she was working late. That was the first crack in her story, and I knew more would follow. I drove to the hotel later that day, my chest tight with a mixture of fear and determination. The bartender remembered them. "Yeah," he said casually, polishing a glass. "They come here often. Always sit in the corner booth. Cute couple." The words, "cute couple," made me want to smash something, but I forced a smile and thanked him. My suspicions were no longer suspicions. They were facts. She wasn't just slipping into someone else's arms in our living room. She had built an entire second life with him. On the way back, rage and pain twisted inside me until they became something else entirely. A cold clarity. If she thought she could play me for a fool, she was wrong. I wasn't going to confront her yet. No, that would be too easy for her. She'd cry, she'd lie, she'd twist the story until I doubted myself. I wanted the truth to crush her. I wanted the weight of her betrayal to fall on her shoulders, so hard she'd never forget it. So I made a plan. I would gather everything, photos, receipts, videos. I would build a case so undeniable, so airtight, that when the moment came, she wouldn't have a single word left to defend herself. But what I didn't realize then was that the more I dug, the darker the truth would become. And soon, I discovered something about the man she was with that made my blood run cold. It took me less than a week to uncover more than I ever wanted to know. The man she was with wasn't just some stranger she'd met at a bar or through work. His name was Daniel. And when I first saw his full profile, my stomach twisted in a way I can't describe, because I knew him. Not well, but enough. He had been at our wedding. A friend of a friend, someone who shook my hand, toasted to our happiness, and disappeared from our lives, or so I thought. Now here he was, back in the picture, stealing everything that was mine. I dug deeper, pulling at every thread I could find. His social media was private, but her mistakes gave him away. She had photos I hadn't seen before. Small details in the background matched his apartment, his car. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together, and every piece felt like a knife in my chest. I started to follow him, quietly, carefully. One night, I watched him leave his apartment with her, holding hands like they were some perfect couple. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt, but I didn't move. I stayed hidden, my heart hammering, my phone recording every step they took. The more I watched, the more I realized this wasn't a fling. She wasn't just cheating. She was building a future with him. They talked about trips, about plans, about things she never discussed with me anymore. It was like I had been erased, replaced, rewritten out of her life. But there was something else about Daniel. Something strange. The way he looked over his shoulder, like he was hiding more than just an affair. The late-night meetings with people I didn't recognize. And then the cash, thick envelopes exchanged in dark parking lots. Emily had no idea who she was really with. And for the first time, my anger was mixed with something else, fear, not for me, but for her. Because Daniel wasn't just a thief of love. He was dangerous. And soon, she'd find out the hard way.